What's up, hey family? It is your mortgage girl Dorothy, also known as author and serial entrepreneur. Welcome back to my channel. I am excited for this video because it is my first Q&A video. Yes, I did not forget. I know you guys asked me quite a few questions for my Q&A, and so today we get the answers. Are you ready? Because I am. Let's go. Hey family, I am Dorothy Harris and welcome back to my channel. We talk about all things business, wealth, and lifestyle. If you're looking for entrepreneurial tips, ways to build more wealth, or hey, you just want to have some fun and adventure, this is the channel for you. Don't forget to like and go ahead and click that subscribe button. I can't wait to journey with you. Okay, cool. So, of course, welcome back to my channel with all things finance, wealth building, and lifestyle. Okay, we have our first Q&A. I'm super excited. Most of the questions are related to real estate, mortgages, and business and entrepreneurship. So I'm excited to elaborate a little bit on that. We'll go ahead and just get started with our first question. So the first question we have here is, how important is credit when buying a home? Okay. Honestly, it is one of the most important things. In fact, if not the most important thing when you're looking for a home, it's credit. And the reason why is because credit is actually what gets you in the door. If you don't have the credit, it pretty much kills everything else as far as an opportunity to get a pre-approval for homeownership. It's literally essential. It's the most important thing. If you don't have the credit criteria, you pretty much have to build that credit criteria until you are qualified. I know I talked about this in my last video about the starter kit for home ownership. In fact, that was the number one thing on that list was credit. And I even let you know what your minimum FICO should look like. So if you actually missed that video, do me a favor. I'll actually go ahead and drop it down below. You can actually get a little bit more intel on exactly what you should be looking for as far as credit. I will tell you, I did highlight the minimum FICO score of 620. You can also watch that video for more tips that I gave on that as well, okay? But how important? The most of the most important. We'll just say that. Awesome. So our second question is, in fact, I really love this question. This actually may be one of my favorite questions, guys. It's, what are your tips on managing multiple business ventures, streams of income, when it comes to, entrepreneurship? So basically managing multiple business ventures and streams of income. Woo! Where do I start? Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this at a minimum, but this is an amazing question because honestly, it's something that I'm still figuring out, but I am just learning, as I go. But I can give you some very strong things, advice on what's working for me right now. For those who don't know, I'm a mortgage loan officer. I'm also a licensed realtor, focusing more on mortgage origination this time. I know both go hand in hand with real estate. The difference, if you don't know, is mortgage loan officers actually take care of the financing for clients to help them get pre-approved, get the money they need to buy the home. And obviously the real estate agent is out in the field helping them actually look for the home to get something under contract, okay? I do both of those actually, but I'm focusing on mortgage origination this year. So outside of my mortgage origination, I'm actually an author. That's something I actually started this year. It is honestly one of the best things that's happened to me. I really opened my eyes to a lot. Obviously, I love educating about financial literacy and wealth building, and I decided to write a children's book that was dedicated to helping children learn about financial literacy. It's called Braylon Spank. It was actually the #1 new release on Amazon in education funding. Very excited about that venture, and people are loving it. The children are loving it, and it makes me really happy. It made me realize that I really do enjoy writing children's book, and especially educating the youth about something that's so important and so lacking in that area. So if you haven't checked it already, I will go ahead and also post a link to my book that you can purchase on Amazon KDP. I even teach you how to write books on Amazon KDP also, if you didn't see some tips in my last video. So hey, I'll just give you that quick tip. But back to the most important thing of the question. Not only do I write books, I do write journals, things like that. And I also have a few other things I'm working on. So it is definitely a run and a race, okay? What I actually do to manage multiple business ventures and streams of income, the first tip I'm going to give you is time management, okay? That is going to be your best friend when it comes to being a serial entrepreneur and having multiple businesses. You need to know what every day looks like. And in order to do that, it's going to change, right? But if you can just plan your, like every Sunday, I'll give you an example. I plan my week out. I write down everything I want to get accomplished for that week, and I separate it per business, right? So mortgage origination, Braylon's Bank, my books, even if I'm still doing something settled for real estate, I'll do that. So I literally section it out of what I want to get accomplished for that week. I have quarterly goals literally written down for all of my business ventures. And every week I know exactly what I need to be doing for those businesses. Best advice, first, time management. Write down what you want to get accomplished and write down the times in which you're going to do it. So do time slots for those. Because here's the thing, right? You can write them down, but then when the day comes, it's like, okay, when am I actually going to do these things today? And then you'll look up and it's 8 o'clock and you're like, wow, I only got 4 things done on this list, and it's okay because sometimes you can, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You can put it to the next day, but if you actually time slot it, it will literally structure you to do it during that time slot so that you don't get sidetracked. Obviously, we know a lot of distractions can happen, throughout the day. So I would recommend not only writing it down, but also doing time slots for time management. So write down each of your business ventures, what exactly you want to accomplish for those ventures, write down your quarterly goals, and then synchronize them and go even smaller, your weekly goals, and then every day, your daily goals of what you're actually going to be doing for those businesses and what you need to complete. Very important, time management. Second thing I would say would be plan to the ridiculous. I know that goes hand in hand, but like I said, if you have something big coming up for one of your ventures, like make sure all of this stuff is pre-planned in your calendar. Like write it down when you're going to do it, write the times. Like it has to be to the ridiculous, because if you think about it, if you don't do it to ridiculous, you may honestly procrastinate, or you just may not get things done in a timely manner, and it's not making you effective at all at this point, because now all of your business ventures are lacking in areas. And so plan to the ridiculous, okay? Time management, plan to the ridiculous. I would also say, along with writing everything down, which goes hand in hand, but delegate if you can. Now, I know a lot of newer entrepreneurs like myself, we really just don't have it to have our businesses to where we want them yet, that we can be able to delegate other tasks to help, right? I would absolutely love to have an assistant or a social media manager, those things. But honestly, I feel like a lot of these things I could do myself. And until I'm where I want to be with my businesses and making the income I want to make with my businesses, I'd rather just save and preserve. And so, I feel very confident in those areas to where I'm able to delegate them, right? And then now you can hire an assistant or you can hire a social media manager. And that just takes a lot of tedious task off your list, so you can focus on the bigger picture of task of your business. So if you can already, I would say try to delegate some tasks. If you cannot, then you need to just plan to the ridiculous and make sure you show up for yourself, for your businesses, because at some point you will be able to delegate some of those tasks. But you have to put the work in now, and you have to put the work in now, okay? And that's gonna go to my last point, and that is being disciplined. Having tons of streams of income, it requires a lot of your time, a lot of effort. And so you want to make sure that when you're planning to the ridiculous, that you're also being disciplined. And not only are you writing those things down, are you saying what you're going to do, but you're actually doing those things on a day-to-day. Okay? Very important. I know it's hard. We're all learning, and sometimes I get tired, right? If you need to, don't feel like you can't reset either. Like if you need a day to reset, do it. I do it all the time when I'm overwhelmed or when something's too much going on. I'll take a day or so to just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pre-plan in a way to where I get a day to reset, because that's important. Like you're no good if you're not healthy mentally, emotionally, and you're up to par. So take some time for yourself too, girl. You deserve it, okay? Cool. So that's my second question. Now, my next question here is actually also a good question. It asks us about the differences in commercial loans and home loans. Now, I don't do commercial loans. I do only residential loans. So homeowners who are looking to, obviously move into a home with their families. But the difference is, I guess it's a pretty broad question, but I can give you some differences on, I guess, the financing options per se. Maybe that's what you meant. So with commercial loans, you have to think about it, right? This is how lending institutions scale risk. Before you walk away from your home where you lay your head, your primary home, right? You will walk away from your business or, your commercial building because you actually need somewhere to sleep, right? Like, that's important. And so commercial loans can be a little bit more stringent and stricter to get approved for because of that, because the risk is higher, right? It's more of a liability side on the liability side. And so the financing can be a little bit harder. We have what you call with commercial, a lot of people do hard money financing, things like that to help them fund their commercial loans, or they can just do different outright commercial loans. It just depends on the financial institutions you go through, honestly, and what they have to offer, because there is so many different programs that are available for business owners. But I can tell you that it is typically, most people say, a little harder to get those loans because of the risk that is involved. So that's that. In home loans, residential, obviously for me, it's still obviously a lot of risk involved. So, things have to be intact. Just like if you were to get a commercial loan, your assets, right, your income, you have to prove to the bank that you can actually manage and maintain this big liability of financial asset. Like, you have to be able to pay the bank back, because obviously it is a lien until you pay it off, right? So with both, it's really important that, all of these things are verifiable: your credit, your income, and your assets. And I will tell you, the only other difference I can think of now is that with commercial loans, most people, you have to establish business credit. That is an amazing way to get funding for, a commercial building or whatever you want for your business. It's business credit. In fact, I'll drop a resource below of someone that was actually referred to me by one of my best friends who focus on business credit and building business credit. And that's why a lot of businesses kind of struggle with getting help financially, because you kind of need business credit to get any type of financing. For the most part, I would say, at least. And so it's important to start building that. If you have an LLC or, whatever kind of business you have, partnership, you want to make sure that you are working toward building that business credit so that you don't have to fund everything out of your own personal money, or you don't have to keep using a lot of your profits to do it too, and, minimizing your ability to scale your business. So I would say a big tip too is to start looking into business credit if you are a person who are looking for more commercial financing, making sure you kind of get that established and grow that. Cool. Our next question is going to be, what made you choose real estate? That's a great question. So funny story. I'm going to tell you guys, actually, I'm going to try to make this not too long. Do me a favor real quick though. If you're still with me and you already liking what you hear, go ahead and click that like button for me, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because I'm obviously going to be posting a lot more of this similar content. Turn on those post notifications as well, so you can know when I upload more content. Okay. So I actually got into the mortgage origination business straight out of college. Yes, I'm a Bronco. Go Western Michigan University Broncos. Woohoo. I graduated. I studied business marketing, so that's what my degree is, in business marketing, with a minor in dance, because I was in love with dance. I still am. Performing arts stuff. And so I graduated and I went straight to Quicken Loans. If you've never heard of them, they're a huge company now known as Rocket Mortgage. And they were like, you're going to make a ton of money this year. Start working with us fresh out of college. Become a mortgage banker. This is how you're going to set yourself up for success. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. Come on. Started at Quicken Loans. Got licensed. Oh my goodness. I did not know what was in store for me. It was a lot, guys. I will be honest with you. I feel like, and this is actually going to be a whole separate video, so I'm not going to go into detail, but to get your mortgage origination license to actually write loans and financing for people is actually, to me personally, a lot harder than getting your real estate license. I mean, we studied like the first 3 weeks of the job, 4 weeks, I would say, was studying for the SAFE exam. Okay, the SAFE exam is actually for, it's a federal test. They make you take state and federal stuff to make sure that you are adhering to compliance, but that you know what you're doing pretty much. And so they're testing you on all these massive federal guidelines that you have to know verbatim for most of it. And then they want to test you on your product knowledge. So you have to understand all of these products: conventional, FHA, VA, conforming, non-conforming. And then they want to test you on the math and financing portion to make sure you know your limits with that. And I was just like, whoa. I was like, I've always said in college, like, I will not ever work in finance. I will always say that I will not ever work in finance. I will not ever work in finance. I will not ever work in finance. Well, guys, I work in finance now, but I love it. I do. It's literally a hate-love relationship. There's parts of it where it's so tedious and I'm like, but I really love helping my clients and building those relationships and really educating, because a lot of people don't really understand how the financing part works. And so a lot of people I get, which are most of first-time home buyers, I'm able to educate them. And I feel good about that. It makes me feel good to help somebody in such a huge way. Like, buying your biggest financial asset, home, like, that's huge. So I want to make sure that my clients really understand, not just what I want you to do or need you to do, but why we're actually doing it and what does it mean for you. How does financing work? Like, breaking down your interest rates, breaking down private mortgage insurance. That's all stuff for other videos. But to say the least, I got started in mortgage origination. I was working at Quicken Loans for 80 hours a week. Oh my goodness, it was just like so stressful. I was working a lot of hours, and that's when I realized that corporate lending was different from being on the broker side, because obviously I was getting leads and all of those things, but on this side now, I work on the broker or direct lending side, I generate my own leads. But, I work at my own pace and I actually get compensated more. So that's good, based on the deals I do. Basically, long story short, the reason that I'm mentioning this is because I started with mortgage origination for literally, that's all I've done since college. 2017, it's 2022. I've been in mortgage origination for 5 years. What happened was I got burnt out at Quicken Loans like most people do. I was working 80 hours a week. In 2018, I kind of went through, I would say, a settled depression. I will be honest with you. I was just working so much. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't doing anything for myself and taking care of myself. There was no self-care involved. I was just writing loans all day for clients, and it's very fast paced where I worked before in corporate lending, and it was a lot. It was a lot for a lot of people, and I decided, like, hey, I am no longer doing this to myself. There has to be there has to be a smarter way for me to do this without working 1,000 hours and not being able to still live my life. I was 23 when I started working there. I was literally fresh out of college. I didn't even give myself a break. I probably had a month or two off before I started mortgage banking. So it was a lot. I left Quicken Loans in 2018. No, I stayed there for a little over a year, pretty much. Got burned out. When I left and I went through my little settled depression, I actually just took a few months off work. I literally was making so much money that it was like, well, one thing I can say is I can afford to take a couple months off. I got all of this money because I literally don't have time to spend it or to do anything. So I just remember going to, like, right before I actually quit, I went to Vegas, I went to Miami, like, all of this in 1 month. I was just traveling. I came back and I was like, I'm done. I saved all of my money. I didn't spend it. And I just took a mental break to reset. And I was like, what am I going to do with life? I'll make a separate video on this too, but I'll try to keep it small. But pretty much, I'm a person who can't stay still for too long. When I feel unproductive or I'm not doing anything, I feel like I'm failing in life. If you're that person, like, you know what I mean? And it's a good trait to have. It's like I always have to be doing something. That is actually how I'm at my best. And so I was like, you know what? I started looking into real estate. And so I started reading up on it. And during my couple months off, I was like, I'm going to actually take my real estate. I'm gonna get my real estate license. While I'm on this break, I'm like, oh, you can work for yourself. You can be an independent contractor. You can make your own hours. You can work for yourself. And I literally took a week class. It was literally 1 week, 5 days, 40 hours. I took the class, studied for it. I went to take the real estate exam. 3 weeks later, tip, study after the course too. Before you take your exam, that's why people take it 4, 5, 6, 7 times or just don't pass it. I went to study for 3 weeks before I took my exam. I went to go take my exam after 3 weeks of studying because obviously I was taking a little time off work. So I used that time to study, to learn, educate myself. I went and took the exam. I passed the test the first time and boom. Just like that, I was a licensed realtor. All these brokers were blowing me up like, hey, come work for us, come work for us. Because that's the thing. Brokers actually look for you on the real estate side. They want you to come work for them. So they make money off that. But that's why I chose it. I love the freedom of it. I went from working a job to where I was working literally 80 plus hours a week. And the idea that, oh my goodness, like I could be an independent contractor, make my own hours and still build relationships with clients and help them achieve home ownership in a different way, right? I don't have to do the financing part for them, but I can do the out in the field fun stuff. More of the outside sales. So that was cool, going from inside to outside. The conflict was, I couldn't really do both working in corporate lending. And I always ended up going back to a corporate lender. So I always had breaks and intervals where I didn't practice because they were like, well, you have a real estate license, you have to put it up. Because if you're going to write loans, you can't practice real estate too. And I found out that actually is not entirely always true. But I'll make that another video. Cool. So that's a perfect segue into my last question, guys. The last question is, why did you choose to focus on origination this year? What a great question. It's something that I have panted on for a very, very, very long time, guys. I was like, there's some type of hold that both of these industries have on me. I can't quite tell you what it is yet. I've been doing mortgages for 5 years. I could do it in my sleep. I know a lot about it. The idea of helping a client achieve something that huge is amazing. Being a woman in this industry, because there's not a lot of women in this industry, is amazing for me. And I really want to change the face of client service on this side. And that's something I've always said. But most importantly, with mortgage origination, I get to work from anywhere. I can work from home. I can work from Texas. I can work from Florida. I can do whatever. If you know me, I love control. I love just freedom, right? Like I love doing what I want when I want. And if I want to up and go out of town sometime and still be able to manage my client pipeline and finish up loans, I can do that. For me, with me starting other streams and business ventures, I just felt like mortgage origination allows me to have more flexibility because I could be so much of everywhere at the same time and still work on my business ventures while working literally from anywhere, right? Out of town, in town, home, not home. And I love the flexibility of that, especially since I do have other business ventures now that kind of need my attention. So I felt like this year I was like, well, in real estate, you really do have to you're out in the field, Like if a client wants to go see properties, your schedule changes day to day, right? A client can like 3 properties a day before send them to you and say, hey, like, are you free to go see these tomorrow between these hours? And I'm like, oh yeah, of course you gotta make yourself available for your client, right? So if you have something planned the next day for something else, like let's say you have something super important for another business venture to do, you kind of got to delay that because the client has to come first, right? Like they hired you because you're efficient, because you're available, because you're accessible to them and you're there for them. Like, to get out to these houses, especially in this market, you have to get to them as quick as possible because this market is just crazy. If you haven't heard, there is very little houses on the market, but a lot of buyers. So speed wins in this market. Like the quicker you can get to those properties and get a good offer in, the quicker you can help your client get to that house. And for me, I just felt like with all the ventures I have, like I would hate to be disservice to any of my clients with being too busy for them, And so with real estate, I figured it would be best that way. And I can focus on, my books and journals and originate from remotely anywhere. And really just have that freedom to build on my brand more as of now. So far, amazing. I've actually already increased my mortgage origination production because now I'm just focused on basically helping other realtors build their business and helping their clients get the financing they need to find them homes. And so I'm essentially still right there smack dab in the middle of all things great with real estate. So that is why I initially chose, just wanted to focus on those things more specifically. And like I said, so far so good. It's actually working. I have a lot more time on my hands as well. I will be honest though, it's just, I got this weird little love for all of these things, and I am the person who I just want to do it all. Sometimes you got to take a step back and focus on what's most important at that time. I'm not going to say I'm not coming back to the outside sales side. In fact, who knows? With me, it could be next month I could be back out. Because there's so many different ways that you can also produce on a real estate side, but that's for also another video. I'll maybe drop some tips on that, but as of now, I just figured that was best. And so far so good. Having a blast writing all these loans from home and helping you guys get the financing that you need. So if you need it or you know anyone who do, free consultations I do all the time, so don't hesitate to reach out to me. I know you guys know I am super open and super happy to speak to you at any point in time, really, and help you get the information you need. So that concludes my Q&A. Wow, that was way longer than I expected. I like these Q&As though. They're so engaging and you guys ask really, really good questions. Do me a favor, if you're still with me, I hope you're still with me, family. Go ahead and drop in the comments any additional questions you have based on this video. Even if it's not based on this video, ask me some questions that you would like to know more information about. And I will make sure I answer them. And I will make sure that I include all of this good content into these vlogs for you and that I can just be available to you. If you haven't already, go ahead and drop those comments now. Go ahead and click that like button for me and turn on the post notifications if you are interested in more content about finance, wealth building, and personal lifestyle. And I'm so excited, family. I will see you in my next video. Cannot wait to see those questions you put in that comment box because these were actually amazing and I really loved answering them for you. So thanks for joining my channel, guys. I am Dorothy Harris. If you haven't already, also check me out on Instagram. I am Dorothy Harris. I'll drop some resources in the description box below as well. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Love you guys.